Archaeology is something that I've always had an interest in.
I like things that are a bit different. I like learning.
You never know what you're going to find.
You go into a different world.
I just love archaeology.
You come for the archaeology, but you stay for the friends.
Volunteers are key to everything that we do here. We wouldn't be able to achieve what we do and what we have achieved so far if we didn't have the volunteers. They undertake everything from the cleaning back, the digging of the features, we're training them into how to record the features bit by bit, and then they of course also go on to process all the finds. And given the amount of material that we're actually recovering from the site, these volunteers give their time to the project, and so really without them it wouldn't be able to function.
We were very lucky when Peter actually got in touch with Britannia Archaeology, because Martin and the rest of the archaeologists that have come out to join us have become friends over the years, and they became friends during the first year. Martin has all the time in the world. Somebody comes up and says what's happening, he'll sit and explain. Even though there's a job going on, he needs to actually watch what we're digging, making certain that we're doing. But it doesn't matter who it is, one of us, some visitors, and it's been like that ever since the start.
Archaeology is something that I've always had an interest in, and in actual fact never thought I'd have the opportunity to do it. But when I heard about this project locally, right on my doorstep, I just had to get involved.
I moved to Norfolk in 2018, and the first thing I did was Google archaeological digs near me, because I've always wanted to do it. Took early retirement, always wanted to do it.
I do come here every day, yes. My wife doesn't always like the fact I'm here every day, but she's got used to it and now comes along 3 days with me. So yes, I'm here every day. It's just a really nice atmosphere.
My husband and I came with a group of people from our fitness class to come and have a look at the dig, and they were so welcoming. We just have stayed with it.
I'm a bit out of the box, and I straight away thought, yep, I like things that are a bit different. I like learning, and I straight away for myself thought I'm going to sign up. But actually, I signed the whole family up.
At the beginning, I was a bit like, oh Mum, really, are you dragging me to this? But actually, she's the one that brought me here and introduced me to it all. So I am very grateful to my mum for dragging me along.
I first met Alice when we were backside to backside in the rake pit of Kiln 2. And it's just so fantastic that from there she's now visiting us and actually leading the sessions on some of the days when she comes. And I think that's just down to the project of getting people involved, Martin being involved, that she now has risen, has got a job there. Absolutely brilliant.
You never know what you're going to find. On my first day, I thought, lovely, I'm in the kitchen garden, the place to be where there's so many things to find. Within half an hour, I saw a nice black line in the dirt which looked suspiciously like a pot. They tend to get quite black and soggy. We had a bit of a scrape and said, oh yeah, looks good, looks good. The more we scraped and even brushed, because it did feel a bit fragile, with the moisture and soil just clinging nicely to it, looking like a base and a nice curved side, and it was a bramble root.
I turned up yesterday and was asked to start digging in this hole. Started to uncover an interesting piece of pot that had to stay in overnight, and it's a treasure hunt really, isn't it? But nothing of obvious intrinsic value, but it's just finding interesting things that no one's touched for maybe a couple of thousand years.
We're very lucky on this dig at Elsham because there is a lot of finds and everyone will find something. They will. But of course it is a lottery if you find a big hoard of pots. But I think it was the first Friday of the first week, and it was in the last hour before we all closed up for the weekend. Hilary and I were just cleaning down again to natural in this pit, and nothing really found, and then my trowel just picked this flat bit of pot up. There were 5 other pots, all intermingled with each other, but they were good sized pots as well, and it got very exciting for everyone in that last hour because we couldn't leave it in with the weather and everything. They all came out luckily, successfully, and now they've been cleaned up and they look really super.
If somebody finds something in the place that they're working, they have a tray for that specific context number. They will put the item in the tray.
Yeah, that way.
At the end of the day, that will come into the fines tent. We will then decide, can it be washed? Would it disintegrate or not? If there's a danger it would disintegrate, we don't wash it. We just maybe dry brush it just to get the soil off. When everything's ready for bagging up, we put it in bags and we have to mark the bags. Anything that isn't washable, again, there may be metal or shell or bone or whatever, it all has to be bagged separately or boxed or whatever, depending on fragility. And following on from then, we have to log it, quantify it. How much, how many, how much does it weigh, for instance. And then that gets sent off to Britannia and they collate all this, and then finally a report is produced.
So it all comes to us by category, and each category will have its own specialist. That specialist is then going to go through the material, he's going to date it, he's going to look at details, he's going to mark up anything of further interest, and then he'll produce a more detailed report. However, because we're back here every single year, we're always adding to that pile. So this year, with the work we've done in the kiln field, all of that is going to be added to the 35,000 sherds that are already in our office. In terms of space, there's not a lot left.
I found that in that hole there.
They are trying to get involved with local schools, which I think is great, you know, because if it makes just 2 or 3 kids think about where they're living and what it was like previously, and they will observe how it's going to change over their lifetime as well. And if just 1 or 2 of those youngsters develop an interest in local history and what's been going on in Norfolk for thousands of years, you know, that would be just great.
It looks like red brick.
Yeah, it does.
First you get the dirt and then you put it on the sieving plate. Then you make sure that all of the dirt's gone, and then you check if there's anything in there, like any pieces of pottery, glass or anything like that.
So have you come far?
We drove up from Kent yesterday.
Kent?
Yes, and we got up early this morning, packed our lunch, and in the pouring rain headed off, didn't we?
Yep.
Well, I've come from Bradford, really, inner city Bradford.
I moved to Gloucestershire a year ago, and as soon as I knew that it was going to happen, I thought, now I'm going to book off these 3 weeks and come back.
But so many people are travelling hundreds of miles. We have people camping on the site who's come from Bradford. We've got people coming from Gloucestershire, we've got people coming from everywhere. I'm a digger, I'm a siever, I'm a washer, I'm a greaser. I even organise the toilets. For my sins, but somebody has to. All these jobs all have to be done, and somebody has to do it.
Archaeology belongs to the community, and that is very much why a project like this one is so special to us in museums. And when Peter came to me years ago, I was just so excited at what he was proposing to do here, and I backed him wholeheartedly. People might not say what to say to you, but they all say, I'm really interested in history, and it's tapping that. And Peter has done a magnificent job of tapping into the community's interest. Now, Aylsham seems to be a perfect location to do that. He has really caught the imagination of the local peoples, and there's a glow about it that we all feel that we're involved in something important, special, and it's not just uncovering the archaeology, but it's feeling there's something being created and there's a spirit within the community that is bonding the community.
Peter is brilliant. For him to allow this on his land year after year is amazing, especially for young people who want to pursue a career in archaeology. It's a good experience for them, and even for the older generation to get the knowledge and the history of the land. It is lovely.
I really enjoyed the atmosphere. Everyone's really lovely. They make it a lot of fun, and this is a really good opportunity for me specifically to practice archaeology in preparation for a job in the future, because I'd like to be an archaeologist when I grow up.
Everyone is so lovely, both the volunteers and the professionals. I've only been here a week so far, and I feel like I know everyone and everyone knows my name. I think doing this fieldwork experience has definitely made me realise that I do like practical fieldwork, and I do want to become an archaeologist. So it's been really helpful to sort of like iron out my future and figure out what I want to do.
I've been coming here since 2017, the second year of the dig, and I wanted to sort of a bit more experience doing archaeology, as I did it at university and sort of wanted to get a bit more experience and keep up skills. Yeah, so I would have loved to continue a career in archaeology, but obviously as my knees aren't really up to doing commercial archaeology every day, sort of day in, day out in all weather, it wasn't really on the cards, and I needed to just do this sort of every year to sort of keep up the passion.
This year's been very hot. Last year I complained a lot about the rain. I don't think I ever will again.
And the first week was the hottest. It did get up to about 35 degrees, and then I think our average temperatures were in our high 20s. So any chance we had a breeze, we were out there.
We're unfortunately an all-weather profession, but it does affect every single thing that we do. If it's far too hot, we need to make sure that we're taking more breaks. We need to make sure that people are putting on their sun lotion, that they're wearing hats, that they're not doing things like overloading buckets or overloading wheelbarrows, that they're swapping around and are taking breaks. But then also the thing is that the archaeology that they're uncovering, it will bake, the ground will harden. You know, you are going to have to work that little bit extra hard, but also it becomes increasingly hard to see features as dust collects. So you end up having to do a lot more cleaning. So it does all extend the time. Now on the flip side of that, we have rain. Now the problem is with rain is, of course, that mucks everything up. As you're walking over a site, you're going to pick up half the site, and you'll probably be about a foot higher by the time you cross over it. So sometimes it's better, even if it's just a light range, just to give it 15 minutes, let it settle, because the more you walk over it, you're just going to have to re-clean it. And in both weather extremes, you could end up just doing more damage to the archaeology by actually going down there and just exposing it to the elements than you're going to do by putting a trowel or a mattock into the ground.
So the next week I was just walking over the soil heap, and I found something that was really exciting to me anyway. It looked metal, and as I pulled it out, I just saw the straight bar, and as I pulled it out I could see an end and thought it does look like a key. I actually thought it could be relatively modern, so I carried on collecting pot and things like that, and when I came over, luckily Martin was there, and I just said, oh, I found that. Is it maybe a clock key or something like that? I'm not quite sure. And he got very excited, so did we all, and it is a Roman key.
Last week in the kitchen garden I found a slightly more significant find. There was a piece of lead piping that was used in the water and cooling system, and as part of the sort of normal water transport for the villa.
What we are finding in this area is quite a lot of this, which is box tile flue, and this is flue tile, which would be helped circulate the hot air through the walls, and a key characteristic of this is this keying on it, which would help adhere wall plaster and mortar, and it's very distinctive. So this would be a box shape, and it would have a vent in it as well, and we've been retrieving a lot of this from here. We always found a few pieces, but there has been a significant amount of this, which obviously starts to lead you in a certain direction. However, we can't just surmise what we have to look for further evidence.
Last week I was digging in the kitchen garden, which is there's stuff all over the place in the kitchen garden. And I was in one particular little trench and I uncovered a row of flints. And as I went along, there was one flint, then another flint, then another flint. And to my mind, they were placed, positioned. So I was getting rather excited, of course. And Martin came over and he had a look at it and he said, well, maybe this, maybe not. But I was convinced it was a foundation or a footing for something. But apparently not, because somebody else went in and I expected the flints to continue and go off at a right angle, but they didn't. They just stopped. But this is it. You just don't know what you're going to find.
It was in my sieve that I just saw this little green thing, which I did not really think immediately what it was, but the greenness picked it up so thin. Again, I still wasn't triggering what it was, and then I thought, this could be a coin. And I believe it was the second coin that was found. Another lady found a coin a few days earlier.
I think most of the volunteers now at some point have found what we refer to as small finds. So we're looking at things like coins or pins or nails. I haven't found one in 19 years of digging, which for the first 5 years becomes a bit jarring, but for the last 14 years, you just sort of learn to live with it. The great thing is though, when Francis found that coin, it was from a sealed layer. Now, we always have to allow that there may be some intrusion into layers from other areas. However, because we'd already had some dating out of that, and because what she was digging we refer to as a sealed context, i.e. there's no intrusion, we get a good date, and I believe the date of the coin has come back as 347 to 348 AD. So that gives us at the earliest date for our demolition. That's gone in. So potentially the coin was either dropped by someone who was involved in the demolition, or it was within a structure, and when the structure's gone down, then that's gone in there with it. But this isn't the first one that we found. We found another one earlier in the dig, not too far away. So it starts to lead you in a certain direction. As the evidence builds up, we can say with more certainty about the dating. So we are certainly looking at a mid-4th century date for a demolition event here. So when Ralph was digging, he found a void, and as I believe that part of the floor here has collapsed, that would have created voids as it went down. So you haven't got those supports anymore, and it goes down, and very simply everything under there becomes nice and sealed. What we can do then is we can identify that area below there as a brand new context, and we can safely excavate around it and remove any material that's underneath.
I just love archaeology, and it's a great bunch of people, and there's always stuff to do, so you just keep coming back.
If I'm still about next year, which I hope I am obviously, then I will certainly be back. I'll put my name down already.
If they'll let me come back, I will be back, and I'll probably find some more brambles, but I might find something else as well.
I really enjoy myself here and love working with the people that I'm involved with, and yeah, great fun.
In this 3 weeks, always, something I've noticed about myself is I never watch the news because I don't want it to interfere with what's going on here.
And it's a story that's unfolding every year. Nobody knows what's going on. The archaeologists have been absolutely brilliant. Peter's amazing, and all the volunteers just so friendly. I couldn't not come back.
I would like to come again and stay longer next time. I'm not sure about you, Ollie?
I would love to.
You make friends year after year, the same people are coming, get to know everyone, don't you?
Yeah, you come for the archaeology, but you stay for the friends.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying.
What we have in here is we have 5 layers of Roman demolition, which includes floor tile, roof tile, box flue, opus signinum, pottery. Oh, I should mention the nails. I'll come back. Nails. And if you can come down and have a look later, there is a lovely flint surface at the bottom. That is a floor surface. It's a very old one, but it is a floor surface. It's not a foundation. If that's a foundation, it'll be parts of the wall.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oops, it beat Tap Sheila.
Don't worry about it.